Hey guys, welcome back. Today's going to be a little bit different. We're going to be doing one of my absolute all-time favorites, peanut butter cookies. It's a really simple, easy recipe that all of you are more than capable of doing at home. So let's jump right in and get you into it. Alright, on the counter today we have 1 cup of our homemade Bisquick substitute. It's very easy to make, made up of just basically flour, vegetable oil, baking powder, and salt. If you haven't seen the video on how to make that exactly yet, feel free to check that out. Pretty simple, and you have all the things in your cabinet to do it. The next thing is we have Jif peanut butter. I prefer creamy. You can actually use crunchy in the recipe if you'd like, but just make sure you add a little bit extra peanut butter to make up for the peanuts that's taking that room up. We have 1 egg, large, 1 can of sweetened condensed milk. These are usually in a 14-ounce can, just as this one is. In the States, I would always use Eagle brand milk, but here on the islands, you got to go with what you got. And we have local vanilla extract, just kind of bottled in these repurposed water bottles. So it's kind of a really unique, really good local product there, and it's just way cheaper than what we can buy in the stores. So here we go, we're going to jump right in. Let's do it. So let's get going. We're going to go right into the pot with 1 cup of the mentioned homemade Bisquick powder. And again, I'm using a pot because my mixer fits the edges of the pot really well. It allows me to get everything off the sides and such. I'm going to go straight in with 1 cup of creamy peanut butter. After that, we're going to add in 1 entire can of the sweetened condensed milk. I want to make sure that we get all of that in there as well. Once those things are in, I'm going to go ahead and add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I'm going to give it just a touch extra. If you're making this at home, you'll be using 1 teaspoon. But I'm going to give it a dash extra because ours is really good, but it's not the strongest extract in the world. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and mix these things really well until smooth. It's going to take just a second, but not too long. Alright, so as you see, it gets really, really thick. And now that it's all mixed well together, I'm just going to crack the 1 egg right into the middle of it and go again. This time, we want to make sure that we don't overmix it, but we want to get the egg fully incorporated. Nice and sticky, it's glistening, and what we're going to do is now we just want to rake it all together. You can go to either the middle or one side, whatever you choose. And just like whenever you make a pasta dough, we're going to put it all together. Take generic plastic wrap. Cover it. We're going to let it sit in the refrigerator for at least a half an hour. Alright guys, welcome back. While you were away, over the half hour that I let the cookie dough rest in the refrigerator, I also went ahead and got a small bowl of just granulated white sugar out. Can't really tell on camera, but just, you know, a fair amount of little white sugar in there. You don't need a whole lot, because all we're going to really do is be taking the balls of cookie dough and dropping them in there, rolling them around, and then setting them right onto the tray, okay? These cookies also, it's fair to mention to you that they do not need a lot of room on the sheet tray, and I'll show you why here in a few minutes. And I'm immediately going to just take the fork and press them in a crosshatch pattern. Really gently. You don't need to go crazy. You're not trying to flatten the cookie. You just want to press it down a little bit so that you have an even disc of cookie dough. And that disc is what you're going to end up with. So as I mentioned earlier, these cookies aren't going to spread out a whole lot. In fact, once you press them with the fork, they really aren't going to spread out a whole lot more after that. They're not going to be much bigger than this. And if you notice, I'm making these cookies kind of small. And the reason that I'm doing that is because personally I like a one-bite cookie. If you can do that without making a hard or firm cookie. If you can maintain it being soft and slightly chewy in a small cookie, then that's pretty much the ideal cookie for me. Also, the best thing about cookies is being able to share them with whoever you choose. I do have a little bit of cookie dough left, as you can tell. It's not a whole lot, but it just wouldn't quite fit on this tray. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to stick it back in the cooler and let it cool all the way back down while I wait for these to cook. Alright guys, so as you can see, we've got all the cookies pressed out. We're going to go and go right into the oven. 350 degrees. We're going to check them after about 6 minutes. Grab these, pull them out and check them. They look delicious. The way I like to check the cookies whenever I first pull them out is if you touch them and they have the slightest bit of resistance on the outside, then I like to go ahead and call them done. So we're going to let these cool off for just a second, and then we're going to pick them up and look at them. As you can see, very gently colored on the bottom. It's maintaining its structure. It's still a little bit warm. We're just going to break it open. As you can tell, they've leavened up nicely. All of the air pockets in there are nice and even. It's sugar coated. Looks like a good cookie to me. You can tell they're nice and soft, but they have a little bit of structure. Seems about perfect. Go ahead and pull out the second round, which we did just like the first round, except just with the small amount of remaining dough. So that should pretty much wrap up the cookie itself and how to make it. Just like I said, you want to touch it. Just a little bit of texture starting to form on the outside, you know it's perfectly done. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Again, that's going to wrap up our video for the day. Let me know what you think about the cookies in the comments below. That would be fantastic. Enjoy.